Well, a few days ago, I published my ground feeder and woke up the next day to all that snow and realized, yeah, I should have put a top on it. And I came down the next day after playing in the snow a little bit, and all my tools, of course, were still on my bench because I typically don't clean up the shop after I work on something. So I decided that I'm going to try to redeem myself and do a little better job on building something that didn't make me look so amateurish. So I went ahead and cut the rest of that thing up. I've got 3 panels. What I have in mind is a hanging platform feeder, and I do think I'll put a roof on this. It looks like I can get a feeder that is about a foot, about 11, well, about 10 and a half by 12. But I'm going to build the box first this time. So let me get this. I have stopped surprising myself by the amount of wood I have around here. It's a snow day in Georgia. No one's going to be traveling today unless they absolutely have to. And in fact, it's going to start icing tonight, so nobody's going to be traveling tomorrow. I'm certainly not going to be traveling. But I have a full cedar picket here. And I just looked through the wood pile. So this is going to be plenty. I have in mind a little square box and some uprights and a roof. And if time doesn't get away from me, I might even make it a fancy roof. So same thing I did yesterday. I'm going to cut this to 2 inches wide and make a simple square frame out of it. I'm not going to show you the cutting again. To me, that's just boring. But that's one of the details. So I, again, will have all of my safety gear on. And I assure you, I respect these tools. I still have all my fingers. They don't all bend exactly the same. But some of that is from my throwing history, too. Well, I've gone ahead and cut these out because I wanted to make sure I had this wood right. I don't have that much wood to spare. So I think I've got it right. And it's going to turn out to be on the inside here, 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to nail these 2 things together. That's pretty square. I didn't cut this piece to size yet because I wasn't exactly sure. I cut it close, but I wanted to sneak up on this. And it looks like I just have to take less than a saw blade off. I'll be right back. All right, this is going to work out real well. I've got the same 3/8" staples that I used the other day. It's tacked into place. So with the wire in place, I don't have to do any measuring. I can just set this in here where it needs to go. And now I'm going to use my cutoff tool and cut all this off. I've left room for the staples. And that's what we have. It's really lightweight. I'm going to put a roof on it, and I've got 2 pieces cut here. The peak of these are 11.5 with a 45-degree angle. I just want to set these up here temporarily because I don't know how far I want this overhang to go. I may also want to cut these down a little bit. I've had this oak. This is from the tree that fell down in our yard, and it's got some where I tried to saw it in half. I missed the line. I did it with a handsaw, so it's messed up. I really can't use it for much, except this side is really cool. And I want this to come over the top. I think that's about right there. And I like the length of it. So if that comes over to the edge there, let me mark that. So it looks like I need to cut that down to 7.5 or so. And I've got a couple more in the same situation. I like the length of this one. And the length of this one is 16. And let me look at it in the sideways profile. I like that. I like that. So I'm going to cut both of these down to 7 inches. Before I cut these, I'm going to center these to make sure that 7.5 inch width is correct. The easiest way to do that is to get my centering yardstick, and this is a yardstick. I wish I had a shorter one, but this one will do. So I can put it on the outside here. I got 5 and 5. So yeah, this was a 10-inch piece of wood. So I got 5 and 5 here. And 2 and 5/8 here. So then I can just put these arrows together, and that's going to be centered. Well, that just took a minute, and I have moved the outside. I moved these to the outside. That was my intention all along, and I have 1 3/8 inches of overhang on each one, and that works out well. So I want to draw a line there at 1 3/8 inches. Yeah, 3.5. So I want to make sure I don't go past that. So I'm ready to attach these. Little glue. I'm going to attach these with staples as well. My safety glasses here. While it's still there, I'll change. I've got to change nail sizes too. That'll go all the way through there. I've been using 1.5 inches. I want to go down to 1.25 inches. I just don't have the strength that I used to, that's for sure. All right, I didn't glue any of that, and I put them in an angle because 1.25 inches is actually about 1/16 of an inch too long, but I'm going to put a couple screws in there. I like this so far, and I think I will make it extra fancy. I'll show you that in a minute. No need to pre-drill this soft cedar. Just try to space them evenly there. So I promised you extra fancy. Well, I'm going to put shingles on this. This entire box, it's about half full. I used to make a lot of birdhouses to donate for our fundraiser at school. And I've put shingles on them. These are left over from, I think it's white oak split rail fence. I just made a little jig in my bandsaw and cut these off by the hundreds, it looks like. I know I have more than enough to do it on here. The thing is, it's going to take a while for this glue to dry, so you can only do a few at a time. How do I want to do this so you can see it? Let me work on that for a minute. So I'm going to be using my tight bond here. Squeeze a good bit on here. Brush it out. I'll put these on, and then I'll put a coat of boiled linseed oil on top of them once the glue is dry. That'll be tomorrow. And these shingles will last a long time. I've got some out by the in the garden that have been there for 10 years or more. So this first row, I just want to put a little bit over the edge, and I'm going to put them close together as I can. Most of them are pretty squared size. And we'll just go down the row like that. This is going to take probably 100 shingles or more. These have a slight taper to them. This glue will tack up a little bit as I'm doing this, but I have to keep it horizontal like this until the glue really gets a good set. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera on fast motion for a few minutes to let you see what it's going to look like. Well, that's probably it for the day. I'll come back. I've got to wait for this to dry. Come back tomorrow, chop these off, and do the other side. I don't think I'll videotape the other side. The snow didn't go anywhere last night. In fact, we were without power for several hours. Had it back on this morning when I woke up. So we're good. The problem is right now it's above freezing, so all that is melting, and then it's going to get down to the low 20s tonight, so it's all going to freeze again. But it's all good. We're warm and safe. I came down this morning and put the other side of shingles on here, so I'm ready to trim that off. I hung this one over a little too far, so I just got a fine tooth saw here, even it up a little bit. Any shingles that hang over the top have to be cut off. And they're very thin. Could probably have done it with a razor knife. Once these are trimmed off, I've got the cut-offs from the piece of oak that's under here. This is white oak, so it's pretty weather resistant. I'm going to put that right there. I think I'll put a little bit of glue on it. I'm not sure I need it. I'm actually going to do my side first because I can see it. Now, this has this overhang, so if I put my nailer up here, it should hit the upright. And it looks like it did. All right, I like that. If it leaks a little bit, that's not going to be a great big deal. I'm going to hang this. There's another little shingle I should cut off. Okay, I'm going to hang this with a couple of eye bolts and some chain. I've got my marker here. Double check that. So if I drill a hole about right there, should work. I want to try to hit this upright. You know, I really do think it's okay to drill without safety glasses, but I don't want anybody fussing at me. So get these eye bolts started. My son-in-law Michael gave me this little tool one year for Christmas. It is really handy when you're trying to drill things like this in. Well, I don't see them, so I guess I hit the board. That should be plenty. I've got a lot of different pieces of chain. This silver stuff came with some shop lights. Actually has a couple of hooks on it. I kind of like that. I think it's a little bit long, and this way is too short. This is really lightweight stuff that came off of a dollar store hanging basket. I've got the other parts holding up my grow lights. A couple of pieces here. That's too short. I think this is going to work. I have some key rings here. Sometimes, you know, you can go to, I don't know, the fair or other things like that, and they are giving away promotional keychains. I always pick those up because I like to use them for things like this. Well, there it is. I'm going to put a coat of boiled linseed oil on it, and it'll be ready to hang up. I love the smell of this. My dad used it a lot, and it just brings me back to my childhood. This is really rough stuff, so it's going to soak it up pretty good. I purposely put these on like this, so it was meant to look like that, because it's really difficult with these different size and shingles, and there's different lengths and different thicknesses to get it to look right any other way. So they're put on just like you would put them on a house. There's a double row down here, and then I tried to cover up every seam below that. I could put it on the cedar down below, but it's really not necessary. it's really not necessary to do it right here. I just like the looks of it. It will give it a lot of protection